This is where the boundary between dream and waking reality finally ruptures. The creature's emergence intensifies, the spiritual stakes heighten, and Malachi begins to understand that the confrontation in the memory was only the beginning. Chapter 6, When the Waking World Breaks Open. Malachi tore upward through a blinding column of light, like being ripped from underwater by a hand made of heat and force. His lungs burned with the shock of returning to breath, and when the light finally shattered around him, he landed hard on cold concrete. The world snapped back into focus in jagged fragments. Street lamps. Wind. The distant cry of gulls. The lake crashing against the pier with furious rhythm. He was back. He had returned to the present. But something had come back with him. Malachi pushed himself upright, chest heaving. The pier beneath him vibrated with a faint, unnatural tremor. The air smelled of wet stone and ozone, sharp and electric, like the city just before a storm. Kariel stood a few feet away, his expression tense, jaw clenched tight. A faint, fractured glow flickered around him like a dying halo. Malachi blinked hard, vision swimming. What happened? Kariel stepped toward him, kneeling. You touched the creature. You reached the part of yourself you abandoned. That connection has power. But also consequence. He paused, eyes darkening. You were not the only one pulled out of the memory. A cold wave of dread surged through Malachi. He turned toward the lake. The water was boiling. Perfect, unnatural spirals churned on the surface, spinning like dark whirlpools. The lake's normally vast and indifferent expanse seemed to contract, pulling inward as if dragged by invisible chains. Malachi stumbled backward as a column of water rose, twisting violently, unraveling the boundary between the physical and spiritual. Kariel's voice sharpened. Malachi. Listen to me. You must not freeze. But Malachi wasn't frozen, he was transfixed. The water parted. A long, stitched hand gripped the edge of the pier. Then another. Malachi's breath trembled, his heart pounding so loudly he could barely hear the wind. The creature pulled itself up, water streaming down its warped body, soaking the pier in rhythmic drips that sounded almost like footsteps. Except it wasn't stumbling. It wasn't wild. It was steady. Purposeful. Certain. Its seams glowed faintly, pulsing with each breath it took, breath that didn't shake or struggle anymore. Kariel stepped between them, coat whipping around him. Stay back, he warned, raising a hand of light. It is not fully material yet. It can still be. The creature's head snapped toward Kariel. The light in the angelic guide's hand flickered. Died. Kariel staggered, as if struck by an unseen blow. No, this is not possible. The creature straightened, its patchwork limbs steady, its shifting mosaic of faces aligning into something clearer, sharper, a hardened echo of Malachi's teenage features overlaid with all the versions he had been since. Grief stitched into bone. Anger stitched into breath. Loneliness stitched into shape. Malachi whispered, "It's stronger. It is becoming you," Kariel said solemnly. "Not the man you are. The man you feared you would become." The creature took one slow step forward. Malachi's soul flinched. "Why did you bring me back?" it asked, voice deeply human, deeply wounded. "Why touch me if you were only going to abandon me again?" Malachi's throat tightened. "I wasn't abandoning you." He shook his head, taking a shaky step forward. "I was trying to understand." Understand. The creature leaned closer, seams tightening across its chest. "I waited in the dark for years. Waiting to be named. Waiting to be seen." Malachi felt something inside him crack. "I didn't know how to face you. I didn't know how to face myself." The creature's voice lowered, trembling with a pain that almost softened its terrifying form. "You remembered the night of the breaking." "Yes," Malachi whispered. "But you didn't remember how long you left me there." The lake surged behind them, waves slamming the rocks hard enough to spray mist across the pier. The creature's presence twisted the air, bending the light of the street lamps into warped halos. Kariel steadied himself, glaring. Malachi, do not listen to its distortion. Pain retells memory through its own lens. You owe yourself compassion, not chains. The creature snapped its head toward Kariel again, but this time its voice changed, layered, deeper, resonant with something dark. You protected him from me. You hid him behind your light. Kariel's jaw tightened, but he did not deny it. Malachi felt pulled in two directions, one warm, one cold, both unbearable. The creature stepped forward again. Malachi. Come with me. To where? Malachi whispered. To the places you refuse to look. To the places you hide your fear. To the parts of you that still bleed. The creature extended its hand, palm upward, threads twitching. I know your wounds because I am made of them. Malachi's legs trembled. Kariel raised his voice, stronger now. Do not take its hand. You are not meant to walk backward. Malachi lowered his gaze. I'm tired, he whispered. The creature took another step, hopeful. Then let me carry the things you cannot. Kariel cut in sharply. It cannot carry them. It will weaponize them. Malachi squeezed his eyes shut, head spinning, heart aching in every direction. Then, the creature suddenly jerked its head, looking east. Toward the city. Its seams glowed brighter. Kariel stiffened. No. No, it senses something. A pull. A target. Malachi's eyes snapped open. Target. The creature spoke without looking at him. A place where your shadow still lives. Malachi's breath caught. Where? The creature turned toward him slowly, its fractured face shifting into an unsettling grin. Home. The ground trembled beneath them. Streetlights flickered violently. Kariel grabbed Malachi's arm. It's moving. It's leaving the lake. Malachi stared at the creature, fear and unbearable familiarity twisting inside him. Why my home? The creature whispered, because that is where you hid the last piece of me. And then it dissolved into a swirling mass of shadow and lakewater, streaming across the pier and into the dark, racing toward the west side. Malachi moved as if to run after it, but Kariel held him tightly. No. You cannot chase it blindly. Malachi twisted in his grip. It's going to my home. I can't let it. Malachi, Kariel said, voice grave, this is no longer a haunting. He turned Malachi's face toward him, eyes glowing like a storm behind stained glass. This is a reclamation. And far across the city, something screamed, not human, not beast, but a sound stitched from every scar Malachi had ever carried.